Hi, sixth graders. This is Miss Allender, and today we're going to be talking about two things that may look familiar. The first one's greatest common factor, or the GCF, and the other one is the least common multiple, or the LCM. We visited this at the beginning of the year, but now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into it. So, our first thing, finding the greatest common factor. So this question says, find the GCF of 12 and 8. So to find the greatest common factor, I need to start by finding the factors of 12 and the factors of 8. Those factors are all the numbers that you can multiply to give you 12 and to give you 8. So how I like to start is when you find the factors, I always start with 1 and 12 and leave myself a little bit of a gap, okay? So then I think to myself, okay, 2. 2 times what gives me 12? 2 times 6 gives me 12. And then I also think, okay, what's next? 3. 3 times what gives me 12? 3 times 4 gives me 12. And then I can continue on to 6, 4, 5, and continue on, but I have found all my factors here. So let's go down to 8. Again, I always start with 1 and 8, and I think to myself, okay, 2. 2 times 4 gives me 8, and then 3 cannot go in. 4, oh, I'm back to my 4. 4 times 2 gives me 8. 5 I can't do, 6 I can't do, 7 I can't do, so 8 I can't do. So these are my factors for 8. 1, 2, 4, and 8. So now I need to look for what these numbers have in common. So they both have 1 in common, they both have 2 in common, and they both have 4 in common. Since I'm looking for the greatest common factor, I'm looking for the greatest number. So in this case, the greatest number that the both of them have in common is going to be 4. So my GCF equals 4. Now let's do another example real quick. This one is between the numbers 6 and 18. So again, I'm looking for the factors, which are all the numbers that you can multiply to give you 6, and all the numbers you can multiply to give you 18. So I always start with 1 and 6, okay? So then I think 2, and 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. I can't do 4, I can't do 5, so I'm done with 6. My factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. So now I'm going to look at 18. 1 and 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 cannot, 5 cannot. So I'm all done. So my factors for 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. So again, just like up here, I'm going to look for the numbers that they have in common. They have 1 in common. They both have 2 in common. They both have 3 in common. They both have 6 in common. And I'm looking for the greatest number they have in common. So when I look at that, 6 is going to be my greatest common factor. So now we're going to jump into LCM, or the least common multiple. It's a little bit different, but not a whole lot. So finding the LCM of 4 and 12. So instead of finding the factors, you are now skip counting by 4 and skip counting by 12. So I always tell my students just to skip count by 5 and see if they have any in common, and then move on if you need to, because I know you can keep going on 12, 24, and keep going on. So I always say to stop after 5 numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I'm going to stop because there's 5. Down here, 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. Again, I'm going to stop because there's 5. So now, again, you are looking for numbers that they have in common. So it looks like they have 12 in common. And that looks like it. And that's also the least number that they have in common. The last number. So 12 is going to be our LCM. Okay. Now let's go down to 5 and 8. Again, I'm going to skip count by 5 times. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And I'm going to stop. Do it the same thing with 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and I'm going to stop. If I'm looking at these two numbers, I see nothing that's in common so far. So I'm going to continue on with my 5 here. Let's do it 4 more times. Let's do 5 more times. So 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Now I'm going to look. Okay, I see that we have 40 in common, but that's about it. So our least common multiple is going to be 40. Okay, so just a little recap. Remember, when you're finding the greatest common factor, you are looking for the factors and you're finding the greatest one that they have in common. While with the least common multiple, you're skip counting by the numbers and finding the least number that they have in common. Okay, please feel free to reach out to your teachers if you have any questions, and good luck on the rest of the assignment.